So interesting, this channeling business. It's really just about letting go and just trusting that the right words will come to fit whatever is needed to be spoken right now. And so a lot of all of our experiences here, they are with the body in relation to other people, right? And it's usually in relation to others that thing trip up. Because what are we doing with our energy when we are relating to another being? What are we doing? Not what are we saying and what our behaviors are, but also what are we doing with our energy? Are we sucking energy? Are we craving another person's attention? Do we project our own onto that person? Are we needy? Like all of these nuances of what the energy does, and that's not we, the knower, the soul, that's not that part of us. It's the body, right? The body wanting, being thirsty. So it's a lot about trust when it comes to channeling, and just trusting that the most natural thing that happens. And sometimes what you will notice is that we might have two conversations going on at the same time, and then we're saying a little bit of this, and then we're saying a little bit of that. And that is a very natural, organic way for human to function, actually. If you've noticed movies, some movies, to get people's attention, there needs to be a bit more things going on, different stories that weave together. And that's what this is. Because when you're connected to Gaia like this, one of the ways that can happen is that this natural expression of what needs to be spoken, that just comes out. You know, it's very much like a flower. When you trust that natural stream and you don't try to make it into anything. You don't try to make it into, it has to be a certain way. But it's just feeling, trusting, and allowing everything to be just as it is, allowing all of the perfection of what's going on now to be enough. Because right now, that's the only time there is. And so that's the only place that we can go to for truth. Because there is no future. There is no past. There is only an alignment. Now. What's happening right now for the body. Because if you're focused too much out there on other people with all of these duality games, these craving attention, all of those dance, and then when you meditate, you feel good because you are what? Self-focused. The whole point is to take that self-focusedness, self-focused, and project it No, not projected, and to have that be all the time, so that when you meditate and you go about your day interacting with people, that you maintain this self-centeredness. That is what is tripping people up, because when they go about their day, they're focused on other things than being right here, right now, in the body. And what happens? They just follow the natural habit of the body, usually. And they call it gaia, guidance. It's not always. Sometimes it's just the automatic, right? But there's a resonance when it is gaia and when it is the automatic. And that can only be felt through the body. And so it's really important to stay in your center when communion with other beings. Taking into consideration not only the polite frequency band, but also include the lower body. How does this body feel in relation to this body? What gets lit up inside of my body when I'm in relating to this other body? Right? That tells you something. And sometimes you just feel much better being in someone's presence. That's because they are of a higher frequency. They're having some vibrational thing going on that they are of a higher frequency. And that is what we're teaching you here. It is how to stay in these high frequencies by default. Because many beings fluctuate. That's natural. But it's not accurate that just because it gets really, really good means that it needs to be really, really bad. No, it's not really like that. It's like the frequency band, you are bringing them together so that you're harmonizing and taking in consideration all of it. Also what people call the shadow, right? The things that many beings don't want to admit about themselves because they're too shy. Or they feel like people will judge them for this, that, or the other. Oh, who am I to try and think that I'm better than people? There are so many misconceptions in the logical mind that is not benefiting your pure electromagnetic flow. And that is the next step of this 28-day consciousness shift journey. The first step is to get some foundation and get some footing, and that was the free 28-day consciousness shift. If you have taken that, the next stage to do, you can do this in parallel, but for the sake of this conversation, the next stage is level 1, which we are then starting to, that is the holistic optimizer level 1. There is a link in the 28-day consciousness shift all the way on the bottom. There you can see what upgrades are available, and that's the next level after these free 28-day consciousness shifts, where we start to unhinge some of these misconceptions that we have about reality, and so that we go a bit deeper into looking at these shadow aspects and start to see truly what's going on energetically. So we start to free up energy from within the space, from the inside out. And so looking at all of these, and shadow doesn't always have to be dark or sexual. It can be things like your gifts can be in the shadow, right? And so it's important to unkink some of these really I almost want to call them viruses, energetic viruses for a clean energy system at the very least, right? And so we're looking at, the whole goal is to have your energy running smoothly through your system so that you get to express who you are fully, right? But all of these things, all of the shadow, all of that is hindering you, and the misconception about what reality is hindering everyone to express who they truly are. And all of this social conditioning that people are following, right? Some are good, obviously. It's not that everything is bad, but it is certain things that is really wise to be familiar with when it comes to landing your own energy, having your perception changed deliberately so that you can have a different baseline operating system. And that's the same as saying you're jumping a full scale of reality, actually, by aligning to that. So it's like you can go note by note, but you can also go a complete scale up in frequency. And that is what we're doing here. That is the reason for the holistic optimizer. It is to correct the misperceptions. It is to be aware of the shadows and the things that you haven't seen that are gifts, to start to really give you what you should have had from when you were a kid, which is like a proper manual for how to operate your own body with your energy, not using other people's energy or any games like that, any manipulation games or vampiric energy games. These things are so under people's noses sometimes, and people are so slick the way they do it, and it's just an automatic. It's not like most people are not even aware what they're doing. And if they did, they would change it. If they saw the consequences of what life they could have if they started correcting these things. So that's really what we're talking about. We're talking about landing you and why you came specifically to Earth as a soul. So your soul mission will automatically be revealed after you go through this process. It is like a rebirth. So that is why all the way in Christianity, why this rebirthing is being talked about. But in these religious terms, it has been sort of misused, almost like an indoctrination. That is sort of the frequency of it nowadays, certain places. Right? But it's not meant to be that. What it is meant to be is meant to be that you see truly that there is a different path, and you see that you are finished with one level of learning, and then you're ready for another level of learning as a human being, and that is to learn from the inside out. That means that we don't go to other beings and suck energy, and we don't do that, right? We stay in our place and we trust that God inspires whoever is closest to me. I feel it's in this direction, but whoever is closest to me, and I let myself sink in and trust that things will be revealed to me of what road to take, right? And then allow for that next stage to be revealed. But there is a momentum and a training to be able to trust in these signals, so that you know for sure that you're following God's signals and not some other infiltrated energy disguising itself for intuition. Because there are so many nuances to this energy game that you have to be aware of if you want to raise in frequency properly. Because you can definitely convince yourself that just focusing on a banana and a banana comes gets you into mastery. It's not entirely true. It is a muscle, like anything. Focus is a muscle, and you're gaining focus. And just because you gain focus so that you can manifest, you still need to be in heart and energetic truth in order to, let's say, up-level your frequency to such an extent that you can just cruise, and you are vibrating in this high frequency all the time because you know the game. You know the game. You're not deviating too far this way or too far that way. And when you do that, and you catch yourself and you alchemize and you do the things that you need to do to stay in the holistic perspective more and more, that's why these 28 days, it is a repetitive thing. We have been fed-spooned all of this dualistic perspective since we were kids, step by step. That was very meticulous way of getting us out of harmony with ourselves. Very particular. We have to be just as particular to get ourselves into alignment because of what has done with so many of us. Right? The indoctrination. And we need to every single day make sure that we inject the correct perception. And if you don't have the habit yet to do this automatically, that's why we created the free 28-day consciousness shift, and now this level 1. This level 1 is the next stage to start to clear your energy so that you can level up even further. So that your energy, we can feel many of you. You took this free 28-day consciousness shift. Wonderful. One time, thank you. And then you're done. That is not mastery, my dears. If you want to master this game, you have to keep going. Keep going. Make it a habit so that you are aligned in the holistic perspective all the time. This is a practice. This is a practice, a daily practice that needs to be maintained and added on to so that you make the light, your light, bright. That is your responsibility here on the planet. Don't fall for getting dragged and let Gaia take you. You're meant to direct this experience as the soul. And for that, you need to be landed. This is the process for landing. Are you ready? Let's go. He's eager to get people going here. Jesus is eager. Yes. There is some eagerness here. And that is a direct reflection over your asking. Because there are so many beings asking for this information. And here we are, giving it to you, but you have to also align to it. You can't just grasp it intellectually. It is a practiced training that needs to happen. And we know that this information is key for every one of you to start to land your light. Many light workers are still trying to figure this stuff out. Many think that they have figured it out from the mind, and they're still having behaviors that are from the dualistic perspective. Meaning, they could shine much brighter. Meaning, we could have much more light here. Meaning, come on, let's create this new world. already. Many beings are already doing it. That's what all of this YouTube is all about, all of this social media. You have so much options now, but you get to choose how you want to play your game. Do you want to copy other beings around you, that what you see? Because that's what you're going to get if you are attached to other beings and using that. Or are you going to connect? Right? Because if you're connected here, you're going to receive everything that you ever need and more. And if you follow these directions, you're going to get more than you need. But it is a practice, because we've been so habituated to focus out there. So it takes practice to focus back in here. I have made that shift. But that doesn't mean that I can still feel when other beings want me to give to them in that way. And I refuse. Sometimes my body gets angry with that. It's interesting, you know? Because it's like, it knows, my body knows that, no, that's not how you get my energy. Because it's learned to protect its energy like that. It has learned that that stuff is not okay. But we are here, and we need to be trained to stay here in relation to others. And that's the reason for all of this training. And so keep going in these 28 days, because in order to anchor your light, it is important to know what you are anchoring it for and where it comes from, so that you're not filtering out and using your energy to fuel some other thing that's already been here, that is not part of the new. Because then you're part of the old system still. Right? So that's what we wanted to share for now. We want to say that we are so deeply grateful for all of your participation and all of your positive feedback with all of these Heya sessions. We've gotten some really, really amazing stories, actually, about there was one. I think, can we share the video here? Maybe we can share the video here. We'll see.
The abundance meditation, incredible. It's so incredible, like magic. I was going to be short this month on my bills. The first day that I listened, I started looking at my bank account. I'm like, I have too much money in here. I'm like, what? I've never said that. I'm like, there's too much money in my bank account. Like I paid bills already, but there's still a lot of money in there. Honestly, I don't know where it's coming from. And then yesterday, I've been fighting for 7 years to raise my credit score, and it goes up 1 point, 2 points. Yesterday, Kenneth, my score went up 41 points. And yesterday, I was just like, oh my God, oh my God. And I told my son, and he goes, what's going on? And so I told him, and I go, this is Jesus and Kenneth that are helping me. There's no other way that this could be happening. And I still have a lot of money in my bank account. And then my next paycheck is coming next Friday, but I'm still going to be up like $1,000. And I'm like, incredible. And not only that, but everything around me is like he said, it's just getting better. It's getting better. It feels more unblocked. I listen to it after, right before bed, and I'm sleeping better, which is unheard of for me because I have fibromyalgia. I've had it for 21 years, and I live with pain every single day, like 24/7. I have
Mhm.
pain. It's a miracle to be sleeping well at night.
And I felt like, oh, this is amazing, and I wanted to share that uh, because it gets you guys to see what's possible with these Heya sessions, because they are channelings, and they happen sort of randomly. I don't decide them, right? It's not. It more happens because of an alignment that I feel, and from their soul as well. So it's a it's an interesting dance, all of this. All right, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your comments. We really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again in the next one. Ciao.